Thanks for staying with us. You're watching The Holy Land Uncovered. I'm Jordana Miller. One of the communities here in the Holy Land that's inspired by the Sukkot holiday is Bani Israel. They're a small community of African Americans who believe they're descendants of the lost 10 Jewish tribes that were dispersed after the destruction of the first Jewish temple. Now, our reporter Shelby Weiner went to go meet that community this week in the southern city of Arad. She joins me again here on set. Shelby, before you tell me about this community, you have to tell me what you're wearing on your head.
So in the community...
A crown of sorts.
Yes. In the community of Bani Israel, they have different interpretations of how to carry out the traditions from the Bible. And of course, that applies to the holiday of Sukkot, which is why I'm wearing this on my head. It was given to me while I was there because it's part of how they symbolize Sukkot. But we're going to watch the report first, and it'll explain it all.
Okay, let's do it.
Bani Israel, or the House of Israel, is a religious and social movement centered around strict adherence to their interpretation of the Torah. The group's beginnings go back to 1967 as part of the African Hebrew Israelites' immigration to the Holy Land. The community, now based in the southern city of Arad, is celebrating their take on the biblical holiday Sukkot. We met a founding father of the faith, Chief Hoshua Amariel, to find out what makes their celebrations unique.
You can see right here, from looking here, now, this here is what all of the Jews, every Jew understand the concept of the Sukkah. Now, because we represent Shevach Ephraim, we always put our Sukkah in a pyramid shape. See, now here in Israel, most Jews, they have their in a square shape. And see, so that the pyramid in square shape, it was that we believe that Ephraim was the top of the pyramid.
Throughout the week-long holiday, Bani Israel puts these pyramid-shaped palm fronds over their doors. But their homes are not the only place the community puts the symbolic sukkah. We're outside Tel Arad, which is where the House of Israel believes is the true Zion. Now, before we enter their camp, I'm going to put on this wreath, which symbolizes bringing the sukkah with you throughout the holiday. Bani Israel believes the ancient site of Tel Arad is the Jerusalem described in the Bible. Hoshua has spent the last several decades researching this theory in order to prove the religion's belief. Now for Sukkot, they gather to camp in the area of their holy site, which for some is very emotional.
I'm extremely honored because for thousands of years, our people have been forbidden through lack of knowledge on returning here to Mount Zion. And so I feel honored that I've been chosen or allowed to come back to my original homeland. So I'm ecstatic.
But it's not only about faith. Bani Israel is looking to bring more to the world than just religion.
We're trying to bring about a social change. We're trying to let people know that the Torah is not a religious book, but it's a book that governs nations.
The community continues to spread its message to the world, all while praying in their slice of Zion.
Fascinating report there, Shelby. So I now get it, because we're still in Sukkot. You can still wear the crown.
I'm keeping the sukkah with me at all times.
Right. This community, they started to come here after the Six-Day War in the late 60s. But they're small, and are people still coming from the United States to join this group here in Israel?
People are still coming. So they first came to Israel with the group that's more known, the Black Hebrew Israelites in Dimona. But they separated from that group and are now a smaller sect based in Arad. And there's still people coming from America. In fact, it's a commandment to them to come to Jerusalem 3 times a year for the feasts. So because of that, there's people coming from America for each one, including Sukkot. And it's a big mission for them to get here. Many of them are coming from not the highest economic levels. So it's a strong journey, and they work very hard to be able to come and celebrate this holiday here.
I found it was very interesting what he said at the end of your piece, that they're trying to bring a social revolution with the Torah to say that it belongs to all nations, which of course is very different than the traditional Jewish interpretation, which is that the Torah was given to the Jews. It was offered to the nations of the world, but only the Jews took it with all of its mitzvot, commandments, and that the world lives by fewer commandments, the Noahide laws. Is that a message that you think is going to echo in Israel?
It's hard to say if Beit Israel's message will echo in Israel. They're not very well accepted here. In fact, the state of Israel doesn't accept them as a religion, doesn't accept Tel Arad as their holy site. So I don't see it catching on in Israel. However, it seems to be catching on in other places in the world, and it's definitely growing in popularity in the America and Central America regions as they keep hearing more about it and coming to Israel to find out what it's all about.
Right, and they even have some trouble with the Israeli authorities getting into Tel Arad.
Yes, because
pray.
Tel Arad isn't recognized as a holy site. It's under the Parks Authority, so there's an admission fee to get inside. And because of that, Beit Israel's protesting that they shouldn't have to pay to go to their temple and worship. And so instead of all of them camping at the holy site, they have a second camp which isn't under the Parks Authority, so they don't have to pay to camp there because they're standing by that it shouldn't be something you need to pay for. This is a spiritual land to many people, so their platform is that they should be accepted as well, and because of that, they shouldn't have to pay to go to their holy site, and compare it to as if Jews would have to pay to go to the Kotel.
Interesting stuff. Thank you so much, Shelby, for joining me with that. Okay, we're going to take another quick break, but stay with us for more stories from the Holy Land Uncovered.